Since the human history has started, after the cognitive revolution especially, humans with their pattern recognition skills had started to notice the cyclicity of nature. Particularly, the celestial cyclicity had always fascinated the Homo sapiens. Elites across civilizations took special interests to define these cycles and certain points in these cycles. People came with various ways of defining things, like we know today one innings of sun and another innings of moon clubbed together makes a day. Likewise, one spell for each season clubbed together makes an year. Ancient and medieval kingdoms designed their own calendars and imposed them upon their subjects. Especially, I'm a South Indian, and in South India, there were Shaka calendars, Tamil, Telugu Panchangams, which were also imposed one too. Currently, we are using Gregorian calendar introduced by Pope Gregorian in the 16th century. Currently, we are using an updated one. However, pace of life was very slow till the medieval period. Then agricultural society looked up at the sky for sun and its position to roughly estimate the time of the day. They also used to look at the growth of the plant to determine the weather. Life was very slow. While ancient calendars have structured years and festivals, the Industrial Revolution brought a new urgency to time, redefining daily life. In the mid 18th century, after the invention of machines, things things got fast. So mechanical clocks gained more prominence than ever, and it was used just as another tool for social order, because modern industry sanctifies precision and uniformity. That means time and timetables have become very important. In the 18th century England, factories that mushroomed all over English cities have imposed their own time clocks on its workers. They implemented those clocks to monitor workers' attendance and productivity. Workers used to come, punch in, and punch out to mark the start and end of the shift. Workday was divided into fixed time periods with scheduled breaks for meals. This led to a daily routine. Have you noticed it? They have just imposed another artificial cycle upon a natural cycle on workers. Soon, as the economy grew, lot of people started to move from rural areas to cities. As a result of that, schools started to show up, hospitals mushroomed, government became more robust, and government institutions came all over the cities surrounded these factory towns. They all had to adapt to factory timings. Not only that, there are a lot of institutions and other things that had to adopt to the factories, to the time set by the factories. Just an example, if let's say the factory shift ends at 5 p.m., that means the pub and restaurants used to open at 5 p.m. So that is the kind of adjustment the society in that city as a whole used to go through. Each city in England had its own time and timetable. This was fine till there was no rapid public transportation, and there was no telephone came into wide use. But this became a severe nuisance when the first commercial train started to run from Manchester to Liverpool. At one point, the train companies came together and decided that their timetables should be calibrated to Greenwich Observatory time. Following that, the British government itself had legislated that all its citizens and institutions must be obliged to follow Greenwich Mean Time, GMT, which we call it now. So that's how time has imposed upon people in England, one of the first industrialized countries in the world. So, as the British Empire colonized and dominated the world, the idea of precise timekeeping had also become part of all its colonies and former colonies. In Hyderabad, you can see ancient mechanical clocks in places like Charminar, Salajang Museum, and Clock Tower, which were imported around 1850s. We derive all our institutions and systems from erstwhile British India. Coming to the main question, whose New Year is this? We know there are certain sections of people calling not to celebrate this New Year because this calendar is imposed on us by the West. We must understand here that ideas travel. Ideas always travel from one place to another by any means. Not all, but naturally certain ideas gain prominence over others due to various reasons. And these ideas become reality. Let me tell you, there was no concept of nations 300 years ago. There was no concept of religions 3000 years ago. After these ideas became reality, we started tagging ideas to identity. And yes, since we are in a West dominated world, so those ideas which came from the West dominate the world today. We must also understand we are all citizens of globalized world. Hence, it calls for certain standardizations in anything we follow. And I feel calendars are one of those, came from one of those standardizations. Anyways, Happy New Year. Have a wonderful one.